All right, so here we are going to talk about the different levels of ecological organization. And so just remember that ecology is the study of how organisms interact with each other and how energy moves through an environment. And so, as we talked about, there are biotic factors in an ecosystem and abiotic factors. So biotic factors are those things that are alive, and then abiotic factors are the things that are not alive. But biotic factors and abiotic factors interact with each other in any ecosystem. And so there are different levels of organization when we talk about ecosystems. And really, scientists study both. They study life on the micro level, so we're talking about like micro is very small, so things like cells and tissues. But they also study things on the macro level because that's important when you are talking about keeping this planet healthy, keeping organisms healthy, keeping their communities healthy. So on the smallest level, we can talk about individuals. And sometimes we call individuals an organism. And so this is just one type of living thing. And so in this example, we would have an elk. An elk would be the individual or organism. And so the elk would be a species, all right? So here we have a group of elk or a group of species, and that would be called a population. And so a population is just one species, in this case, elk. And so there are multiple elks in this population. And within a population, organisms or individuals can interact with each other in a number of different ways. With elk, they will work together to keep each other safe from predators, but there's also competition between individuals in the population, both for resources like food, but also for sexual partners to reproduce. And so that's important to understand that they do interact in a number of different ways, including competing against each other and helping each other. The next level up of organization is called the community. Communities are groups of different populations, so more than one population or different groups of species. And so in this case, you might have the elk living together in this community with moose, which would compete. They would compete for some resources. They might be living in this community with wolves or mountain lions, beavers, maybe an eagle or an owl. But not just those animals. We have also fungus, we have plants. As you can see in this community, largely the plants are coniferous trees. And so within a community, organisms are interacting either by competing or being predated on, meaning they're being hunted by another organism or eaten by another organism, or they are the predator and they are hunting their prey. And then the next level up is the ecosystem level. So all the organisms in a particular area along with those non-living or abiotic factors. That is the ecosystem. So this would be many different populations of moose, beavers, trees, grass, rocks, water, the mountain itself, the air. And so in this ecosystem particularly, we have a lot of coniferous trees. And in this one, there's mountains as well. So you might find this kind of ecosystem out west where the weather or the climate is drier. It's higher in altitude where you predominantly have this kind of coniferous ecosystem with these sort of prairie-like areas and these sorts of communities or populations of animals. And then finally, the next level up is a biome. And so a biome is a group of ecosystems that have the same climate and similar dominant communities. They may not be in the same area, however. So you might have the same sort of ecosystem in the northern part of the Earth as in the southern part, where the climate might be similar, the mountains might be similar. And so there are lots of different types of biomes. You can see a list of them here. Tropical rainforests are one of them. We would be living in a temperate woodland or a temperate forest, or at least down where you are in the metro Twin Cities area. Up here, we're more in a, we're kind of getting more into between the cross between temperate forests and a boreal forest or a taiga. And so that's where more of those coniferous trees are. It gets a little colder, a little wetter. And then finally, if you kind of zoom out all the way, we have the biosphere, which is all of the planet where life exists, including land, water, and air. And so this is basically that lower part of the atmosphere that extends over the entire surface of Earth.